Remove Lieutenant Yarima's uniform immediately. Joe Igbokwe reacts to Wike's clash with soldiers. Welcome to GistAngle, your hub for hot gist and verified news updates. Today's hot topic comes straight from Abuja. Political commentator and APC chieftain Joe Igbokwe has stirred reactions by calling for the immediate removal of Lieutenant Yarima, the officer involved in a tense confrontation with FCT Minister Wike during a land inspection. The incident went viral and sparked debate across social media, raising questions about civilian authority versus military conduct in Nigeria. Joe Igbokwe's statement comes after a video surfaced showing Wike confronting soldiers who allegedly tried to block his inspection at a disputed plot of land in Gadowa, Abuja. In his post, Igbokwe condemned the officer's behavior and described it as a disgrace to the Nigerian military. Let us take a quick look at the background of this incident. A few days ago, Minister Wike visited Plot 1946 Gadowa district to enforce a stop-work order on a land allegedly linked to a retired naval officer. Wike had gone with top officials from the Federal Capital Territory Administration to ensure compliance with development regulations. In reaction to this, Joe Igbokwe took to his Facebook account and condemned the officer's behavior, calling it a disgrace to the Nigerian military. Here are his full statements. This is the young man, Lieutenant Yarima, that challenged FCT 001, His Excellency Wike, during the Abuja land inspection. The young officer has no respect for constituted authority. His uniform should be removed immediately. This kind of behavior brings shame to the Nigerian military. A lieutenant cannot speak to a sitting minister that way. Discipline in the armed forces is built on respect for authority, and allowing such defiance to go unchecked could send the wrong message. I call on the Navy to take swift action to maintain order and ensure that officers know their place. No one should think that being in uniform gives them the right to disrespect civilian authorities. His statement has reignited conversations about military discipline, respect, and civilian supremacy. Who is Joe Igbokwe? For those of us who may not know, Joe Igbokwe is a political figure and media advisor with the Lagos state government. He is known for being outspoken and unafraid to voice strong opinions on political matters. Igbokwe has consistently defended his party and highlighted wrongdoing by public officials or institutions. So it's no surprise he entered this debate with firm words and a public call for action. The statement has sparked mixed reactions online. Many praised Igbokwe, saying military officers must respect civilian authority, especially elected officials and government ministers. Others argued the officer might have been following orders or protecting property, suggesting the situation could have been handled quietly without public confrontation. This debate highlights a broader concern about boundaries between civilian government and military personnel. Now, my people, let's talk this out. Joe Igbokwe's call for the officer's removal is very strong. Lieutenant Yarima's behavior was disrespectful, and in his view, a lieutenant should never talk back or challenge authority publicly. Igbokwe believes that allowing such actions to go unchecked could undermine discipline and respect in the military, which is the backbone of any professional armed force. But let's pause and think about the officer's side. What if Lieutenant Yarima was simply following orders from his superior? Many people are not considering that angle. Military personnel often have to make split-second decisions based on instructions, and obedience is a core part of their training. If he was told to protect a property or enforce a command, he might have felt he had no choice but to act as he did. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine a father leaving the house and telling his son, "Lock the door and don't open it for anyone." Now, if a stranger comes knocking while the father is away, the child has to decide, should he obey his father or take the risk of letting someone in? That's exactly the kind of decision Lieutenant Yarima might have faced. He could have thought, "I'm just following instructions. I'm protecting what I'm supposed to protect. Also, let's consider the pressures on a young officer in uniform. Sometimes being the face of authority on the ground comes with tough calls. If he hesitated or failed to enforce instructions, he could have been criticized for not following orders properly. So, in some ways, he might have been caught between obeying his chain of command and facing public criticism. Now, some people might say, but a lieutenant should use tact. Yes, true. There's always room for diplomacy. But let's be real, in situations where instructions are strict and stakes are high, officers often act decisively to avoid appearing weak or negligent. Another point to think about is this: the optics and public perception. Joe Igbokwe's statement is bold and grabs attention because it frames the situation as a disciplinary issue. It highlights respect, authority, and the role of the military in society. But the lieutenant might see it completely differently, as doing his duty under difficult circumstances. And here is the bigger picture. This incident brings up questions about the balance between authority and obedience. On one hand, military officers are trained to follow orders. On the other hand, society expects them to exercise judgment and respect civilian norms. It's a delicate balance, and incidents like this make people debate where the line should be drawn. Some might argue that removing the officer's uniform immediately sends a strong message about accountability. Others might feel that disciplinary processes should be followed, considering his side and the context of his actions. Both arguments have merit. So when you weigh it all, this story isn't just about one young lieutenant being called out. It's about military discipline, obedience, public perception, and how authority is interpreted by both those in uniform and those watching from outside. At the end of the day, people might ask themselves, was Joe Igbokwe right to call for immediate removal? Or should the officer be given the benefit of the doubt as someone following orders under pressure? The reality could be somewhere in between, a situation where both sides have valid points, and the discussion is what makes this news so hot. You might ask, what is the current situation now? Well, allegedly, the situation has calmed down, with the officer still in service. Discussions around military discipline and public accountability continue online and among stakeholders. And that's the full gist, my people. A young officer, a bold political statement, and the nation weighing authority versus obedience. But there are two questions to think about. Was Joe Igbokwe justified in demanding Lieutenant Yarima's uniform be removed, or should the lieutenant be defended as someone following orders under pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss respectfully.
It's GistAngle.